Good morning, people. Here we are again with a couple of mixes. If you're thinking this whole process is very tiring for me, no, don't worry about it. I'm pretty much always tired. That's kind of my default setting. This whole thing is actually pretty good for me to get back into making videos. I also have a new video editing program that's so much more fun to work with. So yeah, it's a good thing for the both of us, I suppose. First one of today is by Romain Barat. Okay, overall it's not a bad mix, but I think it would benefit from a couple of tweaks. For example, the cymbals, I'm not quite sure what it is. It could be they are a bit too heavy compressed or too heavily compressed, and they're kind of washing up the whole top range of the mix and making it a bit undefined. And also a little bit too bright. It's almost harsh, but not quite yet. So I could still leave it at that. And the bass could come up a little bit. And I think the mix is also pumping a bit. You notice it when the kick hits. There's a little bit of pumping going on. And vocals need to come up. I noticed that in a lot of mixes that the vocals are a bit too quiet. And I suspect that's because most of you people might be guitar players. So, of course, you kind of inadvertently focus more on guitars. But when you're in the mixing process, you need to turn that off. Also sounds like you put some kind of chorus on the guitars, but let me check that out a little bit more. Yeah, also here it sounds like there's some kind of chorus effect. I'm not sure if that's intentional or perhaps something got a little bit messed up. Oh, I can barely hear the clean guitar in here. It's almost not there. Okay, but as I said, overall it's a decent mix. It could benefit from one or the other tweak. Next one is by Nicolas Martin. Finally some names I can actually pronounce. sounds like something about the rhythm guitars is monoed. You notice here the guitar. Well, now I need to be careful now. Could be that in the verse you just pan them a little bit into the center, which is fine. And then, I mean, that's actually a pretty good trick. For a verse or something that has a little bit lower energy, pan the guitars a little bit back into the center, not too much though, so it doesn't just sound monoed. And that way, you kind of take away a little bit of the stereo width. And that makes the whole, again, energy curve, when you think about that, it kind of lowers the energy curve. And then in the chorus or in bigger parts, you could pan them completely hard left and hard right again, and that spreads the stereo image and makes it feel bigger. But I'm not sure if that is exactly what you did here. The mix as a whole makes me think it may not be intentional. Okay, so overall this is again a more rougher sounding mix. Can't let this one go cold. Which I think I've made clear plenty of times that is absolutely cool. But you still want to watch out that you have enough energy in the whole mix. And here I feel like it's lacking a little bit of energy. There could be a bit more push behind it. And you would get that from a bit more compression fiddling. For example, the kick is a little bit too low there. It kind of gets lost a little bit. It's just a puffy woofing going on in the background. So you may want to give that a bit more oomph. Same kind of goes for the snare. Again, it's not a bad mix. There are no problems in that sense with it, but I feel it could benefit from just giving it a bit more time, a bit more tweaking here and there. Next one is by Takis Koroneos. Takis Koroneos. Sounds Greek, but of course I could be wrong too. Okay, overall this is actually a very solid mix. The only thing is it's lacking some low end. The bass guitar could come up quite a bit. And try to make it focus a bit more around 100 Hz to really give it that round oomph down there. Because the mix is still lacking that, it sounds a little bit weak. But otherwise, it seems pretty fine. The drum mix is great. I'm running out of breath. Perhaps here the vocals could come down a bit. They sound a little bit too much on top of everything. And here this filter guitar could also be a little bit low in volume. So the big part coming after it sounds a bit bigger by comparison. Because you kind of want to compare the volume of that filter guitar, let's just call it like that, to the volume of the rhythm guitars in the big section afterwards. And you notice there is quite the difference. The filter guitar is quite a bit louder than the rhythm guitars. And that's what's giving you a little bit of the discrepancy in the energy flow. So on this filter guitar section, you kind of want to have the energy subdued and let it build up to that big part. And it will work better when you match the volumes of these two guitar tracks a little bit better. Okay, overall, yeah, this is a pretty good mix. It's lacking at the low end. Next one is by Connor Ceci-Laws. Yeah, this is so much fun just trying to get the names right. This is actually a very good mix. I have no real complaints so far. The only thing I would say is the vocals could benefit from a little bit less top range, a little bit less of that upper mid range, and a bit more of a chesty low end. Because right now they sound a touch weak, a touch too breathy. Actually, the vocals don't need a whole lot of EQ going on, because Brian uses a Behringer B1 mic, low budget condenser mic for $100. I actually have the same one right here, and it already has a built-in top range boost, so you really don't need to do a whole lot to that. Also, what you hear from me coming into the mic, it's not really EQ'd. Yeah, here you notice that the vocals could be a bit stronger in the lower range, in the lower mid-range, to give them a bit more fullness, a bit more richness. Just wait, the time is coming soon. Whoa. It's be a place around my heart. But otherwise, this is a very solid mix. Really, it's well done, well done. Next one is by Kerrin Greally. As always, you will be able to read your names in the video description. Okay, right off the bat, it sounds really cool, but there's way too much pumping going on. You may want to ease up on the mastering compressor. And give it a very, very fast release. Because that pumping usually happens when the release of the mastering compressor is too slow, and then it ducks down and it just takes too long to come back up again, and that's giving you this pumping effect. That's really a bummer, because the rest of the mix sounds really, really great. It's just that pumping it's destroying the mix. When in doubt, then take it easy on your master channel. Yeah, it's such a bummer. Without that pumping, you definitely would have been my top 10 list, but it's really, it's that pumping is just too strong. It's too obvious that it's being hard on the ears. So sorry, dude. It kind of hurts me too. Next one's by Sidders. Sidders? No, I don't think it's Sidders, because it's spelled with 2 D's, so Sidders? Okay, overall, this is a very solid mix. The only thing I would say is the kick and snare could come up a little bit. So they have just a bit more presence, a bit more oomph, and so they can carry the groove a little bit better. Right now they are a touch too subdued.
Just wait, time is coming. How did I get here? What has led me?
Yeah, here you also hear from the bass. It's again this muddy honky mid range, like 300 to 600 hertz. That could be a little bit dipped out.
To be docile. How could I have?
And the solo needs to come up. You really gotta think of the solo as taking up the space of the vocals. So you really want that to be present. You want it to be up front. You don't want the listener to have to really listen for it. It needs to jump in the ear without jumping out of the mix. It's kind of a balance act you need to do. Next one, Remarl Inso. It's again this Google Drive thing. I don't trust Google Drive. It crashed on me the other time with another mix. And it seems like it's crashing again. It's okay. For the future, people, please don't use Google Drive. This is just a mess. It's more made for sharing files, not really to play back files. It just takes too long to load. It's wasting time. And I'm pretty sure it's about to say we couldn't play back the audio file. Okay, the player's loaded up, but not the file. Yeah, whoops, there was a problem playing this audio file. If I ever get the chance to make another mixing contest, then I will be so much more specific with guidelines. So this is also a good learning experience for me. Oh, come on. Okay, then let's download this mess. I don't want to download stuff, but what you gotta do? Oh, great, it's not even downloading. Oh, come on. Freaking hate this. Whoop-de-doo, and it's a slow download. 88 megabytes? Did you render it to 24 bits or something? You know, there's also part of mixing and part of mastering. Know what kind of file configuration you ought to export to. I told you MP3 320 kilobits per second is plenty. Don't render it to WAV with 24 bits. Just for that I should throw you out. And here too, the whole high end is just gone. So don't do that. Don't cut out top end. Why would you do that? Okay, next one is by Dennis Maudrich from Ho Records. Okay, there we have a very solid mix again. Okay, yeah, I have no real complaints here. Congratulations, I suppose. Next one's by Loic Caro. Okay, overall this is also a very good mix. It's just the guitars could come down a little bit, but otherwise, spot on. Well, there is definitely something weird going on with the guitars. Like, but I can't put my finger on it. But it's also a thing I don't really want to judge right now. It still works. I mean, it sits well in the mix. So that's that. Okay, so overall, good mix. And now I gotta check how many mixes I've actually already reviewed. Okay, still one more to go for today, and that one is by Luca from Kaboom Studio. That is an awesome name for a studio. Overall, great mix, just the vocals could come up a bit. Yeah, here you notice the vocals are too far behind, too low in the mix. Otherwise, this mix is really cool. A lot of energy in it. Okay, and the solo could also come up just at the B or so, just to make it pop a little bit more. Otherwise, it's also a good mix. Alrighty, and that's it again for today. Another 10 mixes down and still 105 to go. Okay, so slowly but surely we are getting ahead in the whole process. Let's see, 105 mixes with 10 mixes video. Perhaps in 2 weeks I'll be through, and then I will be going into the second round of judgment. Then all the mixes that I kept, I will go through again, try to weed out some more, and yeah. But we will eventually get there, and until then, I wish you a good day.